Hello, I'm William Gallagher and this is the 58 Keys Writing Workshop. I tell you how I write something and then you disagree with me in the comments. Okay, do we have a deal? There, is that going to work? How to get rejected. This is an easy thing because you're going to be rejected. You're a writer, of course you are. The only thing is, I've been on both sides of this and I have seen how writers can sabotage. Sounds like they do it deliberately, but effectively sabotage. There are ways to guarantee you will be rejected, and frankly there are enough ways to get rejected without you putting any effort into it, so why would you? But it is shocking to me. I mean, I've been on both sides. Really, well, at first it was shocking, then it was really irritating how many ways there are that people just destroy their chances of getting published somewhere. So I have two quite colourful examples for you. One of them is real. Actually, I went through it a lot. And the other one, well, it isn't real, but you'll get it. For a few years, I think it was for 3 years or so, something like that, I was features editor on a national UK magazine called PC Direct. It's long gone. Call it 3 years-ish. And in that time, I received, I think, about 200 unsolicited submissions. If you don't happen to know, an unsolicited submission is when a writer I've never heard of sends me an article that they've written anyway, and they just send it out of the blue in the hopes that I'll like it and print it, or whoever the editor is, whoever the publisher is. You need to know one more thing. By the time I finished those 3 years, whatever it was, I was responsible for filling 50 pages of that magazine every 4 weeks or so, kind of thing. It was quite hard. Actually, it was a quite reasonably specialist subject. The articles were quite long. They're about 5,000 words each. And, you know, the day after press day, the day the magazine went to press, the next day, feet up, relaxed. But that was the only relaxing time. The rest of it, you were constantly looking for writers, searching for writers who could handle the topics you want to cover and would deliver on time. Okay, you know, you can be a brilliant writer, but if you don't deliver, what's the point? But actually, I realized by the end, sorry, this is a side point, it did get to the stage where, given the choice of a really, really good writer and one who was just okay, I would actually commission the okay one if I knew that they would deliver and there was a big doubt about the brilliant one. And there was always a big doubt about the brilliant ones. You can't have an empty page, okay? So not only did I have that pressure on me to get, I mean, it sounds precious, like I'm not a doctor or something, but it was pressure, it had to be done. I had money. I had an actual budget. I can't remember what it was now, but it was well worth your time getting published in PC Direct. For the amount of time it would take you to write it and the fee, no question, it was a good deal. Okay, so there I am needing writers. There I am with money to pay writers. I inherited some from a previous features editor, and I did go to certain writers I thought were good and I wanted in, great, but still it's nowhere near enough. Every month was quite desperate, frantic search, and a lot of months it was miserable actually. It would end up with I would have to write something. There was no time for me to write something, and there was certainly no time for me to learn the thing in order to write it, but it had to be done. So it would be done. I had lots of very overnight, late writing sessions there. Okay, but there I am. I need writers. And here is an unsolicited writer giving their work to me out of the blue. That should be gold. And it wasn't. I know I'm rounding up the figures here. The first one, anyway, the 200 submissions, that's roughly right. The rest of it, proportionally correct. Of the 200 writers who sent me articles, I published one. And it wasn't the article they sent me. I read the article, I commissioned the writer, he did what I needed, done. None of the rest of them got hired in any way. I don't think you're surprised by that. You can kind of hear in my tone of voice and the fact that this was about rejection, that it was heading that way. But I think this might surprise you. Of the 200, there were only 7 that I read. And I don't mean I skimmed the rest. I mean 193 I didn't even open. Well, I've opened and looked at the first line. There are certain things that I could tell just from start, but I didn't actually have to read 193 of them. And I know that sounds bad, but you would have done exactly the same. For this reason. I've told you it was called PC Direct, so you've gathered it was a technology magazine. I told you that the articles were quite long. I mean, it seems absurdly long now, but 5,000 was common. It was never below 3,000 for the sort of features I was running for it. So 3,000 to 5,000 words. So if you send me an article and I can see it's 200 words long, what's the point? I don't even have to read it. It's a technology magazine, so I don't know why this happened. Quite a few times, people would send me articles about fashion. I mean, I might personally be interested. It might be brilliant, but it's never going to go in the magazine, and I don't have time to happily sit there with a cup of tea and enjoy it. You know, it's can't do it, gone. Never even touched my eyes. What a phrase. Never looked at it. What else could there be? I would get people telling me that they were very experienced writing in this field, this technology field. But what they'd done was they'd sent me a handwritten article. So I'm never going to, there's no time for me to type it up for them. There's no point. And also, frankly, they're clearly lying to me that they're expert, years and years of use of computers, if they're writing to me in green ink kind of thing. So that was another one. There would also be things where this sounds less good. Well, none of it sounds good, does it really? But my name is William, and I would get emails and be saying, Bill, how you doing? Kind of thing. Yeah, not very well. Actually, I'm William. Sounds like a small thing, but that kind of forced matiness and getting it wrong kind of puts you on edge. And remember, you need to work with these people as well. You know, writers and editors, it's not just like buying stationery. There is a relationship there. You want somebody good. You want somebody good that you can use every month kind of thing. So you can get off on the wrong foot there. And the smallest details can also do it. Like, it's quite interesting. I thought, although it was a technology magazine, it was called PC Direct, it actually covered all sorts of things, including the Mac. 58 Keys is actually for users who write on Macs and iPhones and iPads. I mean, the workshop is for all of us, but that's my kind of field. And it was even back on this magazine. And I got the impression people came to know that. There were a few editors and everybody's specialisms got kind of recognized. I was known as being the Mac guy, so I would routinely get letters and emails from people saying, hey, I'm massively experienced in PCs and Macs, and they would write Macs in capital letters, M-A-C. I thought, no, you're not. You've never used one in your life. No Macintosh user calls them Macs like that. Okay, so basically you're lying to me. Again, oh, sorry, side story. I love this. There was a terrible habit around the time of salespeople who would wait until after some big convention kind of thing and phone you up and say, hi, we spoke at the so-and-so convention. And the number of times I was on the phone and said, no, we didn't. Yeah, that seems quite rude now, but it was fun at the time. Okay, so letters and emails can put you off. The manuscripts can put you off. The topic can put me off. The whole point of this is basically don't send the wrong thing to the wrong person. Okay, you're wasting your time. You're wasting mine. 193 people eventually got rejected, but I do mean eventually. You know how long it takes to get a rejection or an acceptance or anything? It's the way it is. I am trying to put out 50 pages of this magazine. I need to do certain things to make that happen. That's the priority. Anything else left over just has to wait. So I would have a miserable day every 8 weeks, 6 weeks, whenever I could fit it in, rejecting people. And I think actually sometimes I never got around to rejecting them. But here's the thing. I know that wasn't great of me, but think of the 193 people who got rejections from me. Didn't they deserve it? Didn't they earn that rejection? So there they are. I mean, we're writers. We know what it's like, how bad it feels. They had actually really chosen to feel that bad. And what can you do? Target things carefully. Think about where your thing is going to go. Actually, I should say this does work both ways. Can I tell you the story? Have you got time for a quick story? You remember that thing I said about Mac and capital letters and things like that? How it's, because you're right, you know this, the smallest detail can really illuminate a character. Last year sometime, I had a book project in mind, and there was a certain publisher I thought would really be good for it. So, you know, went on the website for the publisher, and I read what they accept, what form they like things in, and of course, basically it's Microsoft Word. Every publisher wants things in Microsoft Word. Fine. Only there was this extra bit. Instead of just saying, please only send in Microsoft Word, it said in really quite forceful terms, do not send in .pages format. I mean, I can't remember the phrasing now, but you could picture the neck muscles in the publisher going for this kind of thing. But it was .pages. Pages, if you don't happen to know, why would you, is a word processor that Apple includes on Macs and iPhones and iPads. It's very good. Everybody uses it, calls it Pages, because that's its name. Pages, this publisher writing that told me she's a PC user. Now, most publishers are. So what? But there was something about the way it was phrased, the way it was written, how angry, really angry this text was, that told me this is somebody who uses PCs and Microsoft Word and is really uncomfortable with technology. Because the thing is, if somebody sends me a manuscript in a format I can't read, well, eventually I'll get back to them and say, I can't read it. Send it in the format that I've just told you to send it me in. Not doing that, I felt there's something really wrong here, and we are not going to get on in this relationship. I mean, I wouldn't send it in a format she didn't want, but there was something wrong. So in fact, I didn't send the book proposal to her. I don't think it was her loss, but still, you have to think about how you're going to work with people. Okay, now, so the point of all of this was, from both sides, publishers look for the right people. You as a writer have to look for the publishers or the editors or the producers that are right for you. It's very tempting, I think, with early writers especially, to write something and then just fling it out everywhere you can. Well, bollocks to that, don't do that. Put some time in, find the right person. Okay. But I said I had two colourful examples, and I really like this one. I sometimes do this, how to get rejected, quite a longer thing, in live workshops. And it always starts out with the students thinking I'm kidding, and by the end they are rejecting me, and I'm having a horrible time for it. But the thing that I can show you from that is this. This is a faked up script page. If you can't read it, then honestly, it doesn't matter. It really is not worth studying. But I'll tell you the important bits as we go. I will set up a scenario. Sounds so formal. I just look, it's like this, okay? I'm a theatre producer, I will tell these students, and I've just had the worst possible news ever. I've got in, and the first email tells me that my big 6-week-long Christmas show is dead for some reason. Maybe it's raining. I don't know if you can hear the rain in there. The rain has put it off. The cast, who knows? It's gone. This 6-week slot vanished, and it's the most important 6 weeks of our time. And I'm panicking away here. But the next email I read is you, and you've sent me a script, gold. Except I look at this opening that you can see on screen, and I reject you and it instantaneously. The things to look for on the script are at the very top. This is what students usually pick out. It says exterior, plain, day, and then the description is a thing about herds of wildebeest come over the horizon. And what is often said to me is, well, clearly that's very expensive. Okay. And then in the next section, there's Kurt Jaw. I love the name Kurt Jaw. I don't know that I can ever use it seriously in anything, but I do like the name for it, like squared. I'll use it somewhere. Kurt Jaw is just typical hero, and I don't know, Caroline Swoon is the typical heroine. I mean, this is, you should reject this because it's so bad, shouldn't you? But okay, this is it. And some people do say, so it's so bad. And yes, of course it is. Okay. The thing is, I just told you, I'm a theatre producer. Exterior, plain, day, herd of wildebeest over the horizon. There are ways to do that kind of thing in theatre, but what I've sent you is a film script. Why have you sent a theatre producer a film script? Instant rejection. And so it should be. But again, there's another writer who's going to be upset at being rejected and probably very grumpy about it. And tough, you know, it's the way it is. 58 Keys Writing Workshop is this weekly thing, and there's going to be another one that will be linked below when it's ready about what to do when you get rejected. But I'm going to assume that you've been properly rejected, that, you know, you sent the right thing to the right person and still it got rejected, which is what will happen statistically. That's most likely. So what you do when that happens, that's a separate thing. I don't think you would do anything I've just said, but honestly, 193 out of 200 people sending to me did. If my maths were better, I'd work out the percentage. I think that's a lot percent. So it can happen, and we can do it to ourselves. And we can all make mistakes, but we don't have to choose to get rejected, and so often we do. So 58 Keys Writing Workshop. It's part of the 58 Keys family now. 58 Keys on Wednesdays, every Wednesday, is for writers who use Apple gear. This is for us as writers, even if you do use green ink kind of thing, but it continues. And I really, really need you to talk to me in the comments for it, because how else is this going to work? You know, I mean, I need to steal from you, I need to learn from you, and hopefully I can tell you things back. Let's work together. We're writers. Let's do this. But for now, thank you very much for watching. Take care of yourself. Write more. And I'll see you soon.